March 14th, 2012, my son Thomas lost his battle with the disease of addiction. I now belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. Do you know the signs? Do you know the trends that children are doing in today's world? Do you know the signs and symptoms? Do you know the signs and symptoms of drug abuse? I want to empower and educate Long Islanders by bringing a force of professionals and how to prevent the disease of addiction. Long Island in Crisis. Good evening and welcome to Long Island in Crisis. This show is dedicated to the education and empowerment of families and loved ones that are struggling with their loved one's substance use disorder. Today is a historic day in New York State history. 20 recommendations are going to be signed into law this coming week. It's the end of the legislative session in Albany, and it's an emotional day for parents who have lost children and parents who are still suffering with their family members, because it's on the backs of many children lost and many loved ones lost to this insidious disease that people have stepped up and come together and united to create a change. It started in 2014 when 12 bills were passed, and that simply wasn't enough. And now we really are closing in and stepping up our efforts so that no person is left behind. No person ever gets told you're not high enough for treatment. No, you have to fail at outpatient. That no longer is going to be the case in New York State. And I can't applaud Mr. Rob Kent from the Department of Alcohol and Substance Abuse in New York State, who really has carried all our loved ones in his heart and moved forward with the governor and with the Senate and the Assembly to make these changes. So my soul is about 9 million pounds lighter today, so we can breathe for the summer at any rate. And my special guest tonight is my dear friend, Claudia Frizzell, who also lost her dear son, Mark. And we have Mr. Avi Israel up in Buffalo, who lost Michael and has been a staunch advocate and just never stops. He also has a foundation called Save the Michaels of the World. And we're going to have a discussion about the bills that were passed and what it's going to mean for every New Yorker. I am proud to say I'm a New Yorker today. Mm-hmm. Hey, Avi, how are you today?
I'm good, girls. I'm feeling really good.
Yes.
I feel a little sad. It's too late for our kids.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be good for the future of the state.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I had the same feeling this morning. It was a very emotional day to hear it, and just at what cost? At what cost have we made the change?
Well, if you think about it, Linda, last year alone, over 100,000 people were looking for treatments.
Yes.
In New York State. That's quite a few people.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future, by next year, we can get that number down and make it easier for people to get access to treatment, make it easier for people not to get addicted. And hopefully by then we'll have these doctors educated so the pills are not flowing like water.
Absolutely.
This legislation, though, I mean, it's really comprehensive. It has gone across. There's prevention, education, treatment access, barriers to insurance broken. I mean, it really shows that so many different agencies, so many different organizations, so many different people have really come together and worked hard at getting a really comprehensive plan, which is what we've all been calling for years.
Yeah. Oh.
So to see this finally go through
Finally.
is just, it's amazing. I've been reading the reports and the news reports and what New York State and the governor put up on their website with just, I'm incredulous,
Yeah.
you know, and happy.
And to think that this year we didn't even have to take a trip to Albany.
I know.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Right.
I know. Well, we were ready this week, but I knew
Yeah.
that
Right?
that it would pass.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember last year, Linda, we were walking around the hallways and we spent a couple of days over there and going from office to office and trying to convince legislators to just go for one bill, which was educating doctors, and the resistance was unbelievable. And do you remember being followed by
by the lobbyists for Misney, for the medical state of the Medical Society of the State of New York, followed us to every single office.
Wow.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
we asked them if they would buy us coffee at one point. Because they should have.
Yes.
I remember asking their lobbyist, their head lobbyist, if she was ready for the day, and she said yes. And boy, I remember the disappointment that we got when Hasty would not even consider the bill.
He wouldn't even bring it
and
to the
put it on the
floor.
floor.
Right.
And what a difference a year make.
What a tremendous difference a year makes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how many people had to lose their battle
Well,
and were also prescribed into their addiction this year?
yeah.
You know, and that's you know, so we won't look back. We'll just
No.
look forward. But I remember pulling assembly people off the floor while they were in session and them not even wanting to listen to what was being said to them.
No. And I don't know if you want to mention names or not.
Oh, you mean like the
It's an
assemblywoman from
election
Great
year.
Neck, who shall
I'll
remain
tell you
nameless?
what, there's one guy here in Buffalo that we were sitting at the table and
Yes.
outside. There's a guy from Buffalo over here, which actually threatened me. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I remember.
I'm going to mention his name. I don't care. His name is Robin Schimminger, a guy that's been in the assembly for 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. And the majority of his contribution come from the medical community. And boy, was he against educating doctors.
Because doctors were against educating doctors. So let's
Yeah.
talk about, you know, the bill calls for 3 hours every 3 years, which is not in addition to the continuing ed that they have to take. Physicians, and they are required to take 50 hours annually.
Right.
And this is going to be just a mandatory course instead of something that they could choose. This is
Right.
mandatory education once every 3 years. If they don't take this education, they cannot prescribe narcotics.
That's right. Yeah. It's
So-
tied to their license, and anybody that has a DEA license will have to take it, which is great. The only fear that I have, ladies, is what's going to happen when they go to set up the curriculum.
Yeah.
Is it going to be watered down? Is it going to get to a point where, is it going to be just like what the FDA did, where the pharmaceutical companies set up the guidelines?
Yeah.
I have that fear, and I'm hoping that it won't be, but I think that's something that we need to keep our eye.
We definitely, but we have Dr. Charlie Morgan, who is the physician for New York State Department of Alcohol and Substance Abuse. He is a man in long-term recovery, so we can certainly have someone that understands what needs to be
Addressed.
addressed.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
on the board of directors for Families in Supportive Treatment, we have Dr. Michael Delman, who is a substance abuse physician. You know, he's
Prescribing. Yeah.
no,
Oh.
he is a physician trained in the disease
Oh.
of addiction.
Right.
That's one of his specialties. So we
Yeah.
have some people that we can bring forward,
Yeah.
you know, to help create and oversee and make sure nothing's falling through.
Well, I don't know if you recall when ISOP passed,
Yes.
there was a committee that was created to come up with suggestions for mandatory education for doctors, and they came up with 15 suggestions, and nothing was adopted. And that's, I don't know, it's just one fear that I have.
No,
regarding
it's you know, it's something that we have to keep a very close eye on, because the intent of the bill is great.
Right.
Now we
Yeah.
have to make sure that it's followed through
And
and implemented, and to the level that needs to be implemented. But, you know, and the other part of the bill that I saw in there is that educational material has to be given to patients also. So
Yes.
that's something new,
Yeah.
that has to be discussed with the person that's receiving the prescription.
Yeah,
there
and
is
I
a,
think,
you know-
I think pharmacists are the ones who are supposed to educate the patient, and I would really like to see what they're gonna come up with. But you know, some of the pharmacists that I know from around here, especially the small independent pharmacists, are very good. I think
Right.
I worry about chain pharmacists.
I do too.
Right. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they have a lot of pharmacy techs that could be, you know,
Right.
18, 20 years old, and
Yes.
and not going to follow through and do their job. So that, you know,
Yeah.
the other part of the bill is no more than 7 days
Right.
can be written, except for chronic pain. So in our discussion here, if you have a chronic ailment that we're not talking about you,
Right.
because people get very upset about that. Not that I blame them, because they don't, you
You're
know,
dealing with a chronic.
if you're dealing with a chronic illness, chronic pain, end of life pain, any of that, this doesn't apply to. This is simply for athletes, kids that may get
Right.
an injury in a sport,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
which is great. Now it's limited. It can't go. A dentist can't write 90 Percocet for your wisdom teeth coming
Right.
out,
Right. Which was half the problem to begin with.
which was
Yes.
a big part of the problem. I think.
So what I had read, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed to me that it was required for the doctor who is prescribing to let the patient know, and then also again when they picked up their prescription from their pharmacy. So
Right.
I think that is a huge success in that they're going to get it twice. So, you know, and you're right, you know, where is that going to come from, and what information are they going to use? But what I just read in this last article, I think you posted it from Buffalo News, was
Yes.
that the pharmacist is not only required to tell them about the addiction, but also tell them about the local treatment facilities in the area, which
Yes.
double bonus.
Yes. Yeah, but you know what? What I think it would be really fantastic if doctors did a simple thing, you know, and come up with to the patient and very simply put it this way. Okay, I could give you a Motrin, or I could give you heroin in a pill. Which one would you rather take?
You know what?
It's
You're
the
absolutely
truth.
110% correct. Because I think, you know, and now Claudia, you had back surgery last year.
Yes.
So share that part of that story, that they wanted to start you here.
Right, right. And that was a big issue for me. I had major back surgery. I have 6 titanium bolts now in my back. And just prior to surgery, you know, they're prepping me and explaining to me what the pain management protocol was going to be. And I said, listen, before we even begin the conversation, I need to let you know I have addiction in my family. I have lost my brother. I have lost my son. So I do not want to be put on major medication. If I need it, I will ask for it, but I don't think we need to, because they, you're going to be put on a morphine drip, and then, he starts telling about all this, the then pain management and prescriptions, and I said, I don't want that. I want to be taken off the morphine drip as soon as my surgery is over, and I can, I'll let them know if I need pain meds, or if
Right.
I'm uncomfortable. How about we do it that way and start at the bottom? Well, they were floored, and we actually wound up having to have the discussion 2 and 3 times before my surgery. They
Yeah.
did finally agree. But, and then I have to admit that the neurosurgeon, after I was home and I went back from my first checkup, I was home for a month and I was already off all my pain meds. He had me come in and talk to his staff about what my experience with, and what my family's experience was with getting addicted to pain meds and why it was important for me. And I thought that was really, that was a great
That's
sign.
amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, there are those doctors who are listening and who, who do pay attention and who are looking forward to being educated.
And looking forward to having the discussion. I mean,
Right.
it's healthier, it's safer for,
Right.
I believe,
Yeah.
start with the least amount.
Right.
You have to save those kind of pills for when you really need them.
While I was going through recovery and, recovery from the surgery and going to physical rehabilitation, so for the next couple of weeks, I was rehabbing with several other people, and I have to say that those of us who were no longer on pain meds were doing so much better than
Yeah.
those who continued to go on. They didn't feel
Yeah.
good. They were, lethargic. They weren't eating properly. It really, you can see it. It was markedly different. Yeah.
That's a powerful story,
Yes.
because of course you're going to feel better because they slow down your body. Well,
Right.
we have all seen the commercial for
Oh
the
my
pill
gosh.
now for your constipation from
Yeah.
opioids.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know, when you have to take another pill to help you go to the bathroom, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need to think about
You
that.
know that Linda, that was one of the reasons that they gave Michael opiates, was to him suffering from Crohn's,
Yes.
and between the pain and the frequent visits to the bathroom, they thought they could kill 2 birds in 1 stone, and unfortunately, nobody ever counted on addiction.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody ever thought that an 18-year-old kid was going to get addicted, which is sad. But one of the other things that I'm really excited about is the fact that there's not going to be a denial.
Yes.
It's an open discussion now.
Yeah.
It's an open discussion now. It's not that dirty little secret anymore.
No, but there's a thing that I think we all should really be aware of, and some of the stuff that we were sold with the Affordable Health Care Act. So I happened to call my insurance company last week and find out, because I go to see a psychiatrist to be treated for PTSD. So I wanted to find out why my copay were higher than a regular specialist, and I was told that it was because it was mental health. And I said, wait a minute,
Parity?
why is mental health higher than, let's say, my cardiologist? She goes, because it's mental health, and mental health and addiction are different. And I said, wait a minute, what happened to the parity law?
Hello.
Exactly.
She goes, well, you are covered. Yeah, I'm covered, but I'm not at the same rate that I'm covered for everything else. So I think there's a catch here that maybe we're not aware of.
That there's
And,
still that stigma and that judgment on
Yeah.
on mental health.
yes, yes.
You know, and in the you know, for all the families that lost someone in Orlando and all these terrible things that have just happened. But let's just say, you know, there was mental illness there. Obviously, there was mental illness there, and every day you hear about a shooting, you know, a robbery. And it's all really to the disease of addiction. But we also have people walking that are out on the street that are in desperate need of some mental health.
Right. Care.
Yeah, and we have cut these services so much that we have some very sick people that are in need of monitoring, making sure they're on their medication.
Right.
You know, it's not their fault,
No, no.
but they are walking our streets.
Well, I think our politicians and in general always looked at mental health and addiction as something that they can get away without having to spend any money on, and it's not a subject that they were going to get resistance on.
Correct.
And unfortunately, the end result shows that, you know what, by not addressing the question of mental health and addiction, we created a whole generation, and we're losing people left and right. So it had to be addressed. I'm hoping that there's a lot more that can be done.
There is a lot more that can be done,
Yeah.
but I think we got a lot accomplished.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a lot accomplished.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we're going to be,
When I think about, we lost Michael 5 years ago, June 4th, and you know, we got a lot done in New York State.
got a,
Maybe not as fast as we wanted, but we got it done. There's still quite a few states around the country that don't even have a prescription monitoring system, which is sad. And you know, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. You know, we're getting more beds available here in New York State, which is a good thing. But more than anything else, I think is the fact that parents like us are willing to stand up and speak up, and even a show like yours, Linda, and Claudia, and everybody else, we're all speaking up, and we're not ashamed of our kids.
absolutely not.
And we're not afraid to say, yeah, my kid was addicted, and my kid passed, and I'm
And
going to
my
make
kid
sure
mattered.
And I'm going to make
Say
sure
hi
that
to
your
Tom,
kid-
Avi. You know Tom. My kid existed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Our kids
That's
were
right.
here, they existed, and
Yep.
and their lives mattered, and their
Yeah.
stories mattered, and
Yeah.
they will be continued to be shared with an
Yeah.
awful lot of people and change other families so that they don't have to go through this horrific
Yeah. Yeah.
loss that we
And
had
I
to.
think politicians are starting to listen more, even though it's sometimes I think that maybe they would rather build a road than build a hospital.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, you know what? There's an awful lot of parents and people that are in recovery, that are suffering, still suffering, and a lot of parents that are in the same club that we're in. And they're not, and they are willing to speak up, and we all vote.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, but they all have kids too. So I'm going to say, you know, a lot of them move from their heart, and they, you know, they carry us with them.
Yeah.
Because there, by the grace of God, it's not their family member. Avi, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to be right back after this message.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Dr. G. I've established an organization called Voices for Veterans. We use music to honor veterans and to help the public understand what veterans have gone through when they come home from war. On October 22nd of this year, we're going to have an incredible show, a 3.5-hour concert at Malloy College, one of the greatest 500-seat theaters on Long Island. We're going to honor 25 veterans. We've taken an incredible band, 15 people from Long Island, some of the best musicians we could find, and we merged it with a 30-person choir, merging gospel with rock and roll. This incredible 3.5-hour show is like none other that you've ever seen. This is Grammy quality. October 22nd, you can buy a ticket, you can make a donation, you can get involved, you can help us with the committee. You can look us up at veterans.org and go on our website and get all the information about the show. Please make a difference to these veterans by coming aboard with us with Voices for Veterans. Thank you so much. Hello, I'm Dr. G. I've established an organization called Voices for Veterans. We use music to honor veterans and to help the public understand what veterans have gone through when they come home from war. On October 22nd of this year, we're going to have an incredible show, a 3.5-hour concert at Malloy College, one of the greatest 500-seat theaters on Long Island. We're going to honor 25 veterans. We've taken an incredible band, 15 people from Long Island, some of the best musicians we could find, and we merged it with a 30-person choir, merging gospel with rock and roll. This incredible 3.5-hour show is like none other that you've ever seen. This is Grammy quality. October 22nd, you can buy a ticket, you can make a donation, you can get involved, you can help us with the committee. You can look us up at veterans.org and go on our website and get all the information about the show. Please make a difference to these veterans by coming aboard with us with Voices for Veterans. Thank you so much.
You smell so good, I won't have to bathe the next 2 weeks.
Anything.
So, here, laugh a little harder. All right?
I will take him. I would be proud to show you off, you little old weirdo man.
Get a new sweater. The worst dressed man here tonight. Right? Look, get that laugh, and get it in there tonight because nobody else is going to laugh like her. She's under drugs, all right?
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis, and it is a happy day in New York State. I know, I'm very pleased. It's a bittersweet day. Let me put it that way. For many people that are in this club, it's a bittersweet day. But we've stood strong and we've talked loud, and people are listening. So it's a good thing. So the next part of the bill is that patients are going to be awarded 14 days, at least 14 days at an inpatient facility with no prior approval from the insurance company. As long as they meet medical necessity, medical criteria. And in New York State, insurance companies have to use a tool called Locator, which that's the mandated medical necessity for New York State.
And what is Locator?
So Locator is a tool that the insurance company will also use and just ask questions to the treatment provider and to the doctor, whoever is doing it. If this is happening, then go to this step. You know, it's,
Right.
if they have to meet all that necessary criteria to then get inpatient treatment.
So that whoever evaluated them will
Yes.
actually have a voice in this type
Absolutely.
of treatment. And
They're-
it's not just the insurance's voice.
That they don't even have
Right.
to call the insurance company.
That's awesome.
They have to make the insurance company aware that they have a patient within 48 hours.
Right,
Right.
That's their,
right.
Right.
and they have to
They don't need prior approval.
they do not need pride, they
Before
don't,
you get admitted.
correct, and they don't have any medical review up until that 14th day.
Right.
And there is
right.
no more, also, very important, no more that 28th day. The care will be continued until the patient is ready to be released,
Yeah.
which is a big difference.
Wow, yeah,
Big, big difference.
that's,
Because
Well,
we all know that
I-
a heroin and opiate addiction is not cured in 14 days, 28 days, especially in adolescence,
right.
especially in that generation. It takes much longer time because we've added the worst substance on the face of the earth, to a developing brain.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I think is also important, and part of that bill with the insurance, is there's recommendation number 12, which is increase access to critical medication to manage
Right.
substance.
Right,
So can you imagine now being able to get shots of Vivitrol?
right.
Which
Yes.
Huge.
prior to that, insurance companies really didn't want to
Cover it.
approve because of the cost. Now you have 28, 29, 30 days craving free,
Craving
where
free.
you can start thinking about your life
Right.
instead of just constantly thinking how you're going to satisfy that craving.
Right.
Correct.
Now you start using your brain a little, for something else, and maybe you are listening to counseling
Right,
instead of just sitting over there and going, okay, I got 15 minutes to go, I can do it.
right,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And that could also be Suboxone or Vivitrol, or there's no waiting period for that anymore. And a 5-day emergency supply can
Yes.
also be given. So if someone, God forbid, can't get into treatment right away,
That is
They
really,
can at least-
really awesome, yeah.
not have that craving, because we all know what happens
Right, yes, yeah.
when
they
your
succumb.
body demands.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
not that their mind wants it, it's their physical being.
It's because they're sick. It
They're
makes them
sick.
sick. That
Yeah.
withdrawal makes them ill, and the drug or the medication will keep them from getting sick and succumbing to their addiction.
Yeah.
That's really unbelievable. I'm more thrilled about that than any other part of the bill, because
Yeah.
so many kids
Yeah.
have, they want treatment, and then now you have to wait for your insurance company to approve, and by that time
Yeah.
the kids change their mind again
But
already.
the sad fact is that insurance companies, they're waiting for them not to be their insured anymore.
Yes.
If they keep saying no, three things, they won't be their insured anymore, they will be dead, or they may have gotten better all by themselves,
Or they move on to Medicaid.
or they
Right.
move on to
Yes.
Medicaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
which is-
every New York State taxpayer pays that bill, and the
Yeah.
insurance company is still getting their premium cover the rest of the family,
Right.
and they're not paying the claim.
Exactly.
We're still paying the claim.
Right.
Except it's,
So
insurance
you're
companies
paying
have
it to
been-
the insurance company, they're posting record profits, and not
Right.
paying any claims.
Insurance companies have been double dipping
Yes,
and that kind of a treatment for a long time. And what I find really amazing is insurance companies are supposed to be non-for-profit.
correct.
It's non-for-profit. If you go to European models insurance companies, there's a limit. There's a limit on the profits that you can make, and there's a limit on what you pay your CEO. Which is,
Wow.
for instance, in Switzerland, the CEO can only get up to $400,000.
Wow.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield here in Buffalo, so it's Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Western New York, pays their CEO over $2 million per year.
Wow. Wow.
That's disgusting.
And
Does that
my
include his bonus?
My son was refused treatment after insurance companies subsidized his addiction. Was refused treatment under the excuse that there was not a doctor in the facility for 24 hours at a time.
Now, and
what
I just want to
facility in
explain
the
to
world
people,
has a
when
doctor
you,
for 24 hours at a time.
when you say that they subsidize, so if an insurance company is willing to pay to go to the doctor to get a prescription and pay for the drugs that addicted Michael, they certainly should be willing then to pay for the treatment.
Well,
That was caused, you can follow the trail
yeah,
right along.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean by saying they subsidized his addiction. They helped promote it between them and uneducated doctors who really, I don't really think that they wanted Michael to die, but I just think that being uneducated, they really did not consider the consequences
No, they didn't.
of providing pain pills to a young kid. And, Michael is not, he's not alone.
No, unfortunately, he's not alone. But part of that goes back to that pain scale.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and I think even further than that, because I remember, and it was mind-blowing when I heard Dr. Cologne speak about the information given by the pharmaceutical companies on that opioids were not addictive from 1985, and they had been using that very skewed information for
and
years and statistics, and that's what they were telling the doctors that were prescribing.
Yeah.
They truly believed they were not.
Shame on
addicted.
and I understand that, but shame on doctors who have, and we've all been to doctors' offices, and who comes in, who represents pharmaceutical companies?
Right.
The gorgeous young women in little, dresses saying, "I'll give you lunch if you, depending on how much you prescribe." I know they stopped this now, but it used to be, if you write so many prescriptions, we're going to give you a bonus to the doctor, monetarily, vacations, whatever it was.
Right.
And they have since stopped that.
We had cheerleaders selling dangerous medication.
Yes.
And basically pharmaceutical companies paying off doctors under the disguise of speaking fees.
Right.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars to doctors, and I think the U.S. Attorney for the southern part of Manhattan, the gentleman who was keep getting all these crooks out of Albany, has just charged 2 pharmaceutical companies executive with a crime because they paid back for kickbacks to doctors.
Right.
Good.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's time to take a stand.
I'm glad that we've seen that part of it trying to take effect.
Right.
To where they're holding, they're holding pharmaceutical representatives accountable. And the next thing that I really wouldn't mind seeing is family members who have lost somebody going after the doctor for getting them addicted.
Right. Right.
Well, and let's mention also, because, our good friend, the Attorney General also, Eric Schneiderman, is going after insurance companies now. If you go to him and say, my insurance company didn't pay for what they were supposed to pay for.
Right.
And he has been investigating insurance companies.
Yeah.
And doctors.
Well,
doctors.
Part of this whole package of bills is another recommendation that the state came up with, and that is for treatment facilities to let the patient know what their option is.
Right.
So in other words, the right for appeal. So you have two appeals that you can do. You can do an internal appeal appeal with the company itself, which most likely will probably be dismissed. And then you can do the external appeal, which will go to the state financial services, which controls insurance companies, and obviously to the state attorney general, Eric Schneiderman. And I really would urge people to do it. For anything that you get denied, just, slap the hell out of insurance companies, because, we pay for coverage thinking that something bad is going to happen and we're going to be covered. And when that something happened, you get this cold letter in the mail that tells you, well, on paragraph such and such,
Yes.
on page 357, it tells you that we don't cover it. You know what? That's not what you sold me. You sold me a glossy picture of everything I'm covered, and I shouldn't have to worry about anything. And you forgot to mention that if I have that disease on that page over there, I'm not going to be covered.
Right.
And to me, that's like, it's baiting you to come in and try something.
Right.
There you are.
There.
We,
Yeah,
I tell people when I do speak to treatment facilities, to people in treatment, know your rights.
Yes.
Because if they tell you after 7 days you have to leave,
Right.
you're entitled to the appeal, and the insurance company must
Keep
pay for the time that you're in there.
Yes.
And that's an important thing for everyone to know,
Right. Right.
and to keep fighting them.
Yeah. I think the only way really that we can change things is, obviously there's a few of us that keep speaking up. But I really honestly think that the more that we do what we've been doing, we get more and more people coming out. But the more we do it and the louder
Right.
we do it, we're going to get more people to speak up.
Without a doubt.
you know.
Without a doubt.
And it may not be an overnight change, but I think we're going to get to a point where an insurance company or a doctor or whoever it is going to think twice before they do anything.
And they should be thinking twice.
Yeah.
We're going to stop right there, and we'll be right back after this message.
Welcome to the Rehab Center located at 2025 Brentwood Road in Brentwood, New York. At the center, we offer chiropractic services, acupuncture, and physical therapy. We take most major medical, no-fault, and workers' comp insurance. If you need these types of services, contact the offices at 631-234-4949. That's 631-234-4949. Welcome to the Rehab Center located at 2025 Brentwood Road in Brentwood, New York. At the center, we offer chiropractic services, acupuncture, and physical therapy. We take most major medical, no-fault, and workers' comp insurance. If you need these types of services, contact the offices at 631-234-4949. That's 631-234-4949.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, Multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis, and we're just going through the historic agreement that was made in New York State today for a very comprehensive bill for substance use disorder. So again, so you leave treatment, whatever, how many ever days that is, and many patients, you know, coming out, everything's been done. You've been told when to go to breakfast, lunch, go to meetings, go to treatment, go to everything. Now, treatment providers must give you a very detailed, comprehensive plan to be discharged with, and your family members. So recovery services for families also are covered by insurance. So you can go and learn about the disease that your loved one has, and also your toolbox. Right. You have to sharpen your tools and learn how to deal with the disease of addiction, setting your healthy boundaries, right. You know, and
learn how to deal with this new person coming home.
Yes.
Because they're not the person
that went away.
Right.
And not enabling,
right.
And certainly not being addicted to their recovery.
Right.
And that's a very tenuous place for most families to be, because you're worried, obviously, about your loved one, but you can't own their recovery.
Right.
And creating that balance at home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's, you know, to have a recovery center where people in short-term, long-term recovery can go to learn how to write a resume.
Right.
To get a job,
Education,
employment.
Legal services.
Because maybe you got yourself into a little bit of trouble when you were suffering.
Transportation.
They're not
going to be driving. Child care services. I mean,
you know, another one of those recommendations that I know I remember speaking to the task force about it, and we didn't see it come up, was really something about block that box. So we have people in recovery, like you just said, that maybe they got themselves into some trouble, you know, and now they have a police record.
Yes.
And you went through recovery and you're doing good, but you can't get a job.
Right.
Because now it's on your application, it's marked that you have a criminal record.
Yeah.
And you know, so how are you supposed to get back into society and do things?
Right.
You know,
well, I know that drug courts have been doing a lot, you know, with different, what's the word that I'm trying to think of?
Drug court has definitely been able to, like, if you're able to complete drug court, you know,
your record is expunged.
Right.
So more of that needs to be done, I think. You know, certainly, if you.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I definitely think that.
Diversion. That's the word.
There should be some help in trying to get people back into society to be productive as soon as possible.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, you know, if you have to block that box.
Right.
You know, the kid, whoever it is, has made a mistake, or maybe maybe they got injured in work, and you know, they got addicted or whatever, and they had a problem. They had to go for recovery, you know, whatever it is. We should do everything we can to try to get this person in recovery back into society, back into producing and contributing to society as fast as possible. instead of pointing fingers at them and
Blaming.
making them
And
feel
blaming them, yeah.
uh,
Making them feel, because part of their disease that we all have to remember is the disease looks to shame and isolate that person. So if you continually knock someone down that's trying to build themselves back up, you're going to, undo a lot of great work that's been done.
But the getting back into the workforce also enables them to feel, self-worth and self-pride, and that helps in their recovery. And by blocking them from that best case scenario, here they're going to, not only are they contributing to society, but they're contributing to their own recovery by, building self-esteem and doing something good for themselves. They'll be able to take care of themselves, pay for
and their family, and maybe
their
come
family.
off social services.
Yeah.
And build a
And
life.
there's that feeling that I'm not a loser.
Right.
You can't call me names anymore because I'm doing the same thing you are doing. I remember Michael going through that self-loathing time where he was like, really hated himself, and he wrote, in his journal, "I hate what I have become. I was supposed to do so much in this world, and I have not achieved anything." And there's that self-loathing that comes along with addiction that goes hand in hand. There's a lack of confidence. There's an unhappiness about how you have no control over your life, and you are just going right down that hole, and you're trying as hard as you can to climb out, and you can't. And us as a society, I think we have a responsibility to make sure that the people who are suffering from this have a way out. I mean, we do it for people with other diseases.
Absolutely.
How many people that you guys know that smoke for 40 years and nobody points a finger at them?
No, they're applauded for their great efforts to stop smoking.
And
how many
encouraged.
people, let's go something even more innocuous is, oh, I see you lost 20 pounds. That's awesome.
Right.
Yes.
What willpower you have. That's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The encouragement.
The encouragement, the lifting up,
we need to do more of that.
We need to do more of that.
Yeah.
We do, and and that's why I think that AA has always been in a church basement, and people have not come forward for that fear.
Right.
That you would think less of them because they had the problem with the disease of addiction.
Right. And in actuality, look what they've overcome.
Look, Jim Cusick, who we just lost from Villa Veritas, wrote a book called Trouble is the Gift.
Yes.
And if you can get past the disease of addiction, there is nothing in this world that you can't accomplish.
Right.
And that's what we should be teaching them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we are always applauding people who they come and tell you, "Well, I'm cancer free." Well, that's fantastic. How about the young kid that either experimented just because they saw their friends doing something, and they come and tell you, "Well, I'm drug free." And we don't give them the same kind of accolades that we give somebody else that has suffered from whatever disease there is. And I think we should, I think as a society, we need to start doing that. We need to start spreading the word that addiction is a very serious chronic disease.
Yes. And it's a fatal progressive disease if left untreated.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
We keep talking about addiction, though, within this bill also. We talk about where addiction ends. There's a lot of money that's going to go to great prevention.
Right.
To empower our babies, our kindergartners to build self-esteem, self-worth, communication skills. All of that needs to be taught. Our kids have an incredible level of anxiety from a very early age in life, and that's unfortunate, and hopefully we can educate parents too on how to keep communication open, open-ended questions, open-ended, just listening to your kids. The anxiety that they feel is real to them and can't be, oh, that's not a problem.
Right.
It is a problem to them. And
Yeah.
we need to empower them to, not for you to fix it, but for you to help them
Learn.
figure out how to fix it themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we also need to teach the community as that you know what, whatever comes from a doctor may not be the answer for your kid. And if your kid cannot sit still right now because they're 7 or 8 years old, maybe you got to take them outside and let them run around for a while, and you'll see how tired they get. And you know, your kid doesn't have ADHD. You know,
Every kid has ADHD. You're right. You're absolutely right. But, you know,
and so don't have to start them at the young age of 7 or 8 on Ritalin, because you're really destroying their lives.
you're setting them up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go for all kids. I mean, there are going to be those
Right,
kids.
yeah.
However, we as a society have a pill is going to fix everything.
Everything.
There's a pill for everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what are the first things that are cut in school? Arts, gym, sports.
That's
So
right.
we take those creative ways that kids can work out those feelings away
Yeah.
from them.
Right.
And that's not right. You know, they need recess, they need fresh air, they need to run around and burn their energy. That's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yes.
You know, and I think we just also as a society need to relax a little bit. If
Yes.
they don't, you know,
You know,
there's
get out
time
and-
for
and
them
meet
to
your
learn a
neighbor,
lot of things.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Get out and meet your neighbor. Go sit
Right.
on your front
Yes.
porch. you
Yes.
know?
Go sit, go ride your bike,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
go sit in the mud.
Celebrate. Celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate
Celebrate.
your family just by
Celebrate.
being with them. Yeah.
Disconnect to reconnect. Get off
Right.
your phone,
Right.
put them away, have family dinner, go
That's
for a
right.
walk.
Yeah.
You know, it's simple things. The world
Yeah.
is not really that complicated. You don't have to go to, you know,
Disneyland.
Disneyland
Yeah.
or informing that you don't have to go to an amusement park to have fun with your kids. They would be happy taking a walk along the river.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, I remember my
Yeah.
baby liked playing with Tupperware.
Yeah.
You know? That was the
Well,
best
that you know, you could
building
buy
blocks.
you could
and-
buy.
yeah.
But what did the baby used to sit in?
Right.
The box that the,
Yes,
the presents
every
came in.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
and my
That's right.
son used to.
Yeah.
He used to take all the Tupperware out and sit in the cabinet and open it, and I have to give him a pretzel stick. And he was
Victoria
happy
did that
for hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know, I really think that, you know what, computers and all these smartphones and all that stuff, you know, it's like it's a double-edged sword. They're
Absolutely.
good in a way. You know, we have instant communication, but
That's
at
true.
the same time, we have also instant disconnect.
Yes.
And we also
the
have
rest of the
instant
world.
gratification. Nobody has to wait for anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we've learned. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight and to share in an incredible journey, and the people that we've met along the way
Absolutely.
has been the light in a very dark tunnel. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a great day, and you know, in light of everything that's happened in the past few days, especially in Orlando, it's time. It works. The system works. So the country has to come together and start making demands for a lot of changes in this world. And I think we all need to remember that. The system works, but you have to get involved in it. And you have to stand up for what you believe is right.
That's right.
And don't be afraid to do it. There's power, right? So we'll go back to fists. Individually, we are not strong, but when we come together,
Amen.
We
amen
are a
is
force
right.
to be reckoned with.
Yes, we
We are a
are.
force to be reckoned with. And
Yes.
unfortunately, we'll have to storm the castle next year. But I think they know we're not far off in the distance. And again, I want to thank Governor Cuomo. I want to thank especially Rob Kent and Peggy Bonneau and Commissioner Sanchez for their unending diligence in getting this work done. And Senator Boyle, who really a few years ago was the first one to start the task force all over the state. And Assemblyman Joe Saladino, who also stood in solidarity with them across, you know, not party lines, but across House lines there. The Senate doesn't talk to the Assembly, but, you know, and certainly Senator Flanagan, who carries us, I know, with him and has led the way.
Yes.
I won't say, I don't know Speaker Hasty, so I'm not still angry at last year, so so he's not getting a kudos.
Well, we could just leave him alone.
We'll just leave him alone. But you know, we had a lot of champions and rock stars that came forward, and we applaud them, and we are thankful. I'm thankful, certainly, that a man like Rob Kent just happens to work for the government, but does it with a very open, generous, compassionate heart.
And I think that the fact that
Javi, hold up Michael for me. I want to get a picture. I want to get Michael on, and I want to get Mark on. And for all the Michaels and Marks and Thomases and Nicholas and Timmy and Peter, for all the kids, and there's many other names, and we can go on, but the fight was a tough one and well worth it, and I'm gonna sleep a little bit easier tonight. I am. My soul feels much more at rest. I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Avi.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
Okay.
Have a great night. Have
Thank
a great
you, Avi.
night, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next week.